Good morning, parrots. How are you today? I hope you had a great day yesterday and that you have done some more activities. I look forward to seeing photographs. So today we're looking at another letter. It's Find a Letter Friday. What's the letter behind me? It's the letter T. T, T. So are there things behind me that start with the letter T? I wonder if you can see what this is. This is toilet paper. Of course, I don't normally leave that on my shelf. Toilet paper. Strictly speaking, that's two words, and that's t p. Toilet paper. So toilet paper. What else begins with a t? Oh, what have I got on here? Aha! This is a towel. Dry my hair. And another thing that we have is a torch. Torch. This is a lovely torch. It's very bright. And last on my tea collection is a teapot. Now, normally most of us use tea bags these days, but I have started to use ordinary tea again. And in a teapot, you put tea leaves, and then you put hot water on the tea leaves, and you put the lid on carefully, and you have to pour it through here, and you pour it through a proper tea strainer. So it's something that's like a sieve, and you need to pour it through there because otherwise, if you didn't, all the tea leaves would end up in your cup as well, and then you'd have a mouthful of tea leaves every time you took a drink, which isn't very pleasant. So there we are. I wonder if you can find some things that begin with T. Have a look around your house. Obviously, ask your grown-ups first. I don't want you to go rampaging through emptying all their cupboards without asking permission. And say you're going on a treasure hunt for things that begin with T. And if you find some, you can put them in a collection and take a photograph and show me all the things that you found beginning with T. So I've got a little story about a teapot. It's about really a teapot and how you can use something for one thing, and then you might think it's broken, but you can actually reuse it for something completely different. So once upon a time, there was a teapot, a bit like this, but the teapot's lid was broken. It had a big crack down it and it didn't have a handle on the top. But the handle and her spout were really good. They were in fine condition. So she could still make a cup of tea. She sat on a tray on a shelf with some cups and saucers and some sugar bowls and some milk jugs. And they all felt they were much better than her because they didn't have any cracks in them and they used to tease her and mock her and be horrible to her. So one day, somebody was cleaning the shelf that she was sitting on, and they carefully lifted her up and tripped and dropped her, and she fell to the floor. That was that. The handle fell off, her spout fell off, and her lid just shattered into tiny little pieces. As she lay there feeling completely shocked, she could hear the others still laughing at her, saying, "Ha ha ha, you're really broken now. We're way better than you are." And she was picked up and put in a cupboard. A little while later, as she was sitting in the cupboard, she could hear someone coming towards her. The door opened and daylight came in, and she was very carefully picked up, and she heard a woman's voice saying, "Perfect, just what I need." And as she was carried out of the door, she could hear the others still making fun of her and laughing and saying, "Oh, you're going to be thrown away now. No one's going to use you." She was carefully placed on the ground outside, and earth was put in her. And then the lady sprinkled something on the top of the earth. And the teapot was a little bit puzzled. She didn't know what was going on. She thought, well, that's not tea leaves and that's not hot water. After a couple of weeks, she could feel things happening, and she realized when the lady came out with a big smile on her face that something had changed. And the lady said, "This is fantastic. Look at this beautiful teapot. It's sitting there and it's got these lovely flowers growing out of it. And the teapot realised that the lady had planted some flowers and the flowers were blossoming. And as the teapot sat there on the warm ground with the sunshine, she could feel that the bees were suddenly coming across and looking at the flowers, and the butterflies were coming to sit on the flowers. And she felt really happy because instead of just being a boring old teapot that was broken and left in a cupboard, she'd been taken outside and she'd become a flower pot. And as she sat there with the beautiful flowers, the bees and the butterflies would buzz around her, and she felt very, very pleased. So it just goes to show that you don't actually have to throw things away necessarily, do you? You can always use something for something else. So this is all intact, but I might try that if this breaks. I might try growing flowers in this. It would be quite nice. Have a great day and have a great weekend.